Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Wisteria here. This time we're actually, even though we're still on Shropshire folklore, we're on sort of strange hauntings. And the first one is the White Lady of Otley. Not Otley. I'm not sure how people pronounce it, whether they pronounce it differently or not. Above Ellesmere, with beautiful landscaped gardens, overlooking the water, stands the new Otley Hall. All that is left of the old hall is a chimney. The worn brickwork surrounded by long grass. It is the haunt of the White Lady of Otley, or Otley. Down below, the White Lady's causeway, I'm not sure what that actually means, leads into the mere. In the early 1800s, swimmers used to follow it into the water until the water grew too deep. It was forgotten until 1879, when divers rediscovered it during the search for a body of a drowned man. The last attempt known to follow it down into the depths was during the Second World War. Two airmen stationed nearby were having a drink with some of the locals. Talk turned to the mere and its stories and causeway beneath the water. As the beer flowed, the airmen laughed and vowed to investigate the next day. Bound to their word the next afternoon, with a small group gathering to watch, the two men stripped off and waded into the water. They found the causeway and followed it into the mere, laughing and joking, while their spectators heckled at them. Not in a bad way, though, it says good-naturedly at least, so they were just being silly. The two men ducked their heads under the water to swim a bit deeper and see how far they could follow the causeway. I think causeway is a path, isn't it? That's what they called it back then, I'm sure. Their audience waited for them to come back up and report on what they'd seen. The seconds ticked by, the chat and laughter perturbed into silence. The surface of the mere was calm. The two airmen never resurfaced, and their bodies were never found. They simply vanished into the mere, so it is said. The daughter of Otley Hall was young, educated and beautiful. She was of an age to be married, and her father was negotiating a suitable match, as they always did back then. Probably still do, I think, actually, with royals, I'm not sure. The young woman had other ideas. Each day, looking out of her window, her eyes lingered on the stable yard, watching the young groom at work. Feeling her eyes upon him, he would turn to meet her gaze, a smile lighting his face, before dragging his eyes away and turning back to work. The two met in secret trysts, declaring their love. When the young lady's betrothal was announced, they made plans to elope. The groom was to wait at night in the boathouse, and the girl would slip out of the window, once all household was asleep, to meet him. Together, they would row across the other side of the mere, where the groom had arranged for two horses to be waiting, and by morning they would be far, far away. But the girl's father overheard their plans. Silently fuming, he let the day run its course. His daughter retired to her room early, claiming a headache. With his gun under his arm, he went to meet her lover. The groom was waiting. He jumped to his feet in welcome as someone entered the boathouse, expecting his sweetheart. The gun fired, and the lad fell back, dead in the boat. The father rowed out over the water and rolled out the weighted body into the mere. His work done, he returned to the house to let the evening play out and his daughter find she had been jilted. Up at the house, only pretending to sleep, the girl heard the shot and her heart grew cold. She slipped out of the window and ran across the lawn. She watched as her father heaved something out of the boat to splash into the mere. She hid in the trees while her father rowed back and tied up the boat. She watched him leave the boathouse, dread gripping her heart as she saw the dark shadow of the gun under his arm. He walked back across the gardens, and she flew into the boathouse. There was a dark smear in the shadows at the bottom of the boat. She dipped her fingers in the puddle and tasted the salt tang of blood. Grief racked her body. Salty tears mingled with the mere water as she waded out through it to find her beloved. She did not stop. She just went deeper and deeper until the cold water closed over her head. She did not rest easy. Soon after her death, a ghostly white figure was seen around the edges of the mere. The daughter haunted Hoatley Hall and the lawns that led to the water, and accidents began to happen more and more frequently in the hall. Each time the food was spoiled or a piece of china crashed to the floor, the maids would look fearfully around for the White Lady. It became more and more difficult to find staff that would stay at the hall. Eventually, in the early 1900s, the old Otley Hall was demolished, and the family moved to a new hall built in the same grounds. But when the old hall was knocked down, they left a chimney as a home for the White Lady, hoping she would not follow them into the new residence. So if you don't get the gist of that story, the father killed the lover and she followed the lover into the water and actually killed herself. So I guess she drowned herself, which is something that is so, like, just horrible. Just, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's a very horrible, horrible thing. Please hit the like, share if you can, because it really helps. And if you've not yet subscribed, please do so. Many blessings.